On this episode, we are doing our final mock draft of the NFL draft season for 2026. All 7 rounds, all 11 picks,
Yeah.
something like that for the Miami Dolphins. We are going to fix this team once and for all, and it's only going to take us one draft to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. I, of course, am your host, Anthony Pinzone. And alongside me, he's back a week out of town. Did not deter him from returning to the show. It's Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace. Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks,
all the
man.
way from Jamaica.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a tough welcome home. That was beautiful, man. It was a much needed vacation with my wife and I. Went to Jamaica for a week and just had a hell of a time just hanging out. Kind of spent, I'd say, 70% of the time in a cabana on the beach. So, I mean, who's better than us, right?
Yeah, buddy. I got to make your friends jealous pictures about halfway through the week, and I was jealous. Yeah, that's awesome, though. Everybody deserves a break. For those of you out there who haven't been on a vacation, hopefully you get one scheduled soon. And if you're from a family who didn't, my family never vacationed, so I didn't know the gloriousness of it until adulthood. Do it. It's glorious. It's worth it. It's worth the money. I don't even think about it after I pay for
it. Yeah, same. I mean, just make sure you're paying all your bills. We don't want to,
right?
You know, but if you can afford to go on a vacation and you go on a vacation, tell you what, man, it's a much needed recharge, buddy, especially a few days before the draft.
Absolutely. So tonight we're here to do our final mock draft of the 2026 draft season. The draft season feels really long when you're talking about it twice a week, my friend. I think I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to be here. I'm ready to see who Miami takes. I'm ready for the new regime to finally kickstart this rebuild. We knew ahead of time that free agency would be very light, and it has been. I mean, if you head over to the 305gridiron.com/transactions, you'll see minimal player names with any player recognition or anything like that. It's just guys to fill some depth spots, and that's about it. So we don't truly know what we're going to see from this regime until they make these first two picks. And then we will get a chance to see how are we going to build this roster.
I'm so excited, dude.
I haven't been this excited about a new coaching GM staff, maybe ever.
No, I mean since I was young. I mean we're in our
yeah.
I can officially say this. We're in our 40s.
40,
right? And so I mean I haven't been this excited about a regime since like early, kind of when in my Dolphin fandom, right? Since I was young enough to understand football.
Yeah.
Think like pre-Wannstedt.
Yeah, because it's been like, and even at least Wannstedt was a smart hire, and like the dude went like 11-5 2 or 3 seasons in a row, and we like shit on him because he was just post Jimmy Johnson, right? You were never gonna do good. You were never gonna be loved when you're after Shula and then Johnson, and then it's Wannstedt. But Wannstedt is our new coach's mentor. He got his up and up with Dave Wannstedt in Pittsburgh. And Sully has been doing the media circuit again, Halfley a little bit too, but not as much.
Yep.
And this is exactly it right here. They just seem like they have their shit together. The messaging is the same. The wants and needs and desires for the team is the same. The goal is the same. Josh, everybody, when we did the Fins forecast, man, there was 4 of us, right? And when I used to say the only thing that mattered was winning a Super Bowl, that was met with some pushback. Yeah. These two say it all the time.
And admittedly, I was one of the ones that pushed back because I do think that there's steps to this thing, right? You have to, and my argument was, you have to see what iteration this team is in, As far as like, if we're going into next season saying this team's winning a Super Bowl or bust, you're delusional because we're not a Super Bowl team yet. Right. Now I understand. I'm starting to come along to your side of the fence. The more and more we go about this, you know,
I do understand how that statement can seem absolutely ridiculous. But like, it's not just like, I don't go into every season thinking we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but it's like, what's the point of winning, right? The point of winning is to eventually win the Super Bowl. So every time we're getting wins and we're stacking wins and stuff like that, I'm excited because that's one step closer to the Super Bowl. I'm not excited because we just won. That doesn't excite me. No. If we're 1-10 and we win our second game of the year, I'm not very pumped about that. Well, whoop-de-doo, you know? But like, if we're 3-3 and we go on a 2-game winning streak, I'm pumped. We're now 2 games closer to the Super Bowl, right?
Yep. So or at least a chance to play in the Super Bowl.
Right, a chance to play in the Super Bowl, yeah. And these guys seem to be coming from exactly that mindset, and I freaking love it. I'm so excited. I know that they don't believe we're going to go to the Super Bowl this year, but they do believe we're going to surprise people. They hear all the noise.
Of course, they
hear that the Dolphins are picking first next year already, before these guys have even had a chance to make a single draft pick or a single play call on the field. Miami's picking first next year. They hear it.
They're listening to the podcast, is what you're telling me?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we said it too. I'm not saying we're without fault. We are.
No, of course.
I don't think we have super high expectations either.
No, but I will say this. Before we hired him, when we did a show and we talked about our season expectations for this upcoming season, based on what we thought would happen in the offseason, I came on the show and I said, I mean, if we win 2 games, I think that's overachieving. I am no longer in that court. I think a 5-6 win season is what I expect. Now, do we achieve that? Totally different thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm solidly in the 6 wins. I think my expectation is 6 wins. If we have 4, I'm disappointed. If we have 8, I'm ecstatic. Yeah. You know, and 8-9 is still a losing record because we have 17 games now, but that's way beyond what anybody is expecting of this team. They completely gutted this roster. There's like literal channels out there looking at us as, are we actually tanking because of how much we've gutted this roster? I mean,
historical. Like that's not, we're not waxing poetic. Historical levels of dead cap.
And it does look like you're tanking, but the reality is these guys were left with such a shit cap situation. They had no choice but to do what the Saints did a few years ago, because the Saints just went through this not long ago too. That's why they were starting Spencer Rattler the one year.
Yeah. Except we did it much better because what the Saints did was they kicked so much money down the road for what felt like a decade so that they could still have money to do stuff. We just took our medicine. We said it on the show. Take your medicine. Take it all right now. Suffer for a season. And then starting next year, we should have at the end, going into next off season, we should have upwards of $100+ million to spend for a team that is retooling a little bit in the draft. We have a quarterback. We have, hopefully we keep a running back. We have some of the key pieces on the offensive line that we're going to start re-signing and stuff. Just really excited. You know, I think you and I have said it to each other, and we both said it at different occasions on the pod, is that it's such a breath of fresh air to finally have adults in the room. Yeah. When you listen to Half and you listen to Sully in the interviews and you listen to them talk and you listen to their reasoning and their logic and the way they communicate and the way they explain themselves and the way that they hold themselves and those around them accountable, it is such a stark, difference than what we have been used to over the last 5 years with Mike McDaniel. It's not a slide on Mike McDaniel. It's not it's a huge slide on both of them, but I'm trying to be polite here. I wish Mike McDaniel nothing but the best, but he was horrible at the media side of things and horrible at communicating, at least from what we saw. We have no idea what happened behind closed doors, but it's a breath of fresh air with these two. And I'm very, very excited to see what they do with what they have, because the one thing we know about Ross, he will spend the money.
Oh, yeah. Right? You know who else is excited to see what these guys have to do? The freaking boys in the chat. Welcome
Let's go.
Boys. Blake coming up. We already put this up. We're going to put it up again. Welcome in. Welcome back, Blake. Jorge is here as well.
What's up, bud?
Fantastic to have a fresh start, my friend. So good.
It is.
Cap for Life coming in hot. Welcome back, Cap for Life. Good to see you, buddy. And True Blazer. It's been a while, my friend. Welcome back to the NFL circles. Good to see you back in here. These guys do indeed have a lot of work to do.
They do. But you know what? This is the first time, and we said at the start of the show, where I genuinely have confidence, not that they're going to turn this around super quick. Maybe they do, right? But that the decisions they are going to make are going to be the best decisions that we've seen this franchise make in a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Blake says similar record to last year. Yeah. Would we win 7 last year?
Yep.
Willis wins 2 to 3 by himself. HA wins 2 to 3 by himself. I got to say, I know we have to get into our final mock draft, but the more that the offseason has gone on, I don't know about you, man, the more excited I actually am for Malik Willis. Like, I mean, he's doing everything right. Everything that a leader of men is supposed to do. This man has 20 plus people in there on a Saturday working with him on drills. They don't have to do that, right? Saturday is the weekend, but he's got them all in there. He's been throwing to these receivers since before he even had the playbook. Like, this man is doing everything you are supposed to do as an NFL quarterback. We don't know if it's going to translate on the field, but I love seeing it happen off the field first.
Well, I mean, you know how I felt about. I'm glad to see you're finally coming around with Willis, because when we did our 8 moves that each of us could, we had criteria and stuff that we had to follow. My very first move was to sign Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I thought at the very worst, he was a very serviceable stopgap. And at the best, he could be, I don't want to say elite, because I don't want to put that pressure on him.
Blake,
because that's
pressure
not
on him for you.
Yeah, thanks, Blake. I don't think that's fair to Willis to say, go be elite. But when you look at the tools that he has and you look at the situations that he came from, when he came from out of Tennessee, that was a horrible situation from top to bottom. No weapons, not great coaching, bad front office, et cetera, et cetera. Then he went and was a backup in Green Bay and won them games, beat Baltimore by himself.
Yeah, he did.
And you just saw the light switch flip. And we said it on the show, and I'm sorry to wax poetic about this. I know we got to get to our draft, but if anyone was going to make a decision on Willis, it was going to be these two, because they had 2 years to watch him every second of every minute of every day that he was in that building. And if they felt convicted in selecting him as their quarterback, that was the very first big move that they made. You have to believe that they think it's going to work, and we have no reason not to trust them.
Yeah, man. Jorge says, still believe they'll find the right piece of the puzzle to head this team. Absolutely, man. I don't think these guys are going to mess around. If Willis flames out, they're just going to find the next quarterback. They'll draft one next year. Like, they're not afraid to walk away from a bad decision. No. And Willis, to be honest, this contract's not that hard to walk away from.
No, we can walk away after next year with, I think, very minimal dead cap.
Making diamonds out here. Let's go, baby. Put that pressure on that. Yeah, I think the part we never get to see really is what's between the ears, which is one of the most important traits for a quarterback, right? Like, how do they handle pressure? How do they, take on and consume information, and then are they able to repeat that back? That's why Gruden did his QB room with the whiteboard all the time. Like, how much information can they take in and then feed back to me later? And I know Steve Mariucci did it too, and both of those segments were fantastic. God, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, right now he doesn't have anybody to throw it to, so maybe we should get him some people to throw it to.
Yeah, and
in our final mock draft.
Oh, damn, you stole me. You stole it from me.
Of 2026. Here we go, baby. All right, so we got A to Z Sports all set up already. We're picking number 11 and number 30 in the first round. We're going to do all 7 rounds here. We got the draft speed on normal. We are not allowing the AI to do trades because, in my experience, they do some really stupid trades in this simulator. We have decreased the amount of trade offer frequency, and we've decreased the amount of team ways need versus BPA.
And quick shout out before we start, A to Z Sport. This is their, I want to make sure we give them credit because we're using their stuff. This is their brand new as in about a month old, brand new mock draft simulator. It is absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, it's the best one out there. It's not particularly close.
Almost everybody I see streaming is using this now because it's that good. They did a great job. As a programmer, I can tell you it's not easy to program one of these. So a huge shout out to their team because it's fantastic.
Man, huge shout out to A to Z Sports for not putting it behind a paywall and letting us fans have some fun with it, man.
Absolutely. They even put a dark mode in here. Look at that.
Yeah, that's my favorite mode, but it's hard to see on this thing. So.
It's hard to see. All right. Am I zoomed in enough? I'm at 120% right now.
I'd say zoom in a little bit, like 1 or 2 clicks more, and we should be good.
There's one.
That's
more.
good.
That's good.
That's good. Right. That's good. Yeah.
Let's see who the Raiders pick. You have any guesses?
Oh, really quick. Are we doing are we pausing at certain points to try to make trades, or are we just doing a 7-round mock at our selections?
I think we're going to do at our selections.
Cool.
Do you have a particular spot you're thinking of trading to?
No, I mean, I would say if we wanted, because I know we've done trade up mocks, we've done trade down mocks. So I think let's just stick and pick. I know it's very blasé, if you will, right? Not real exciting to try to move up to number 7 or try to move down to the early 20s and see what we can get. But I just want to see, this is our final one. So chat, unless you guys blow up the chat and say, let's try to trade up or trade down. I think it's really important to give us an idea of who we could reasonably see if we stay at 11, stay at 30, stay at 43, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, let me know if you're popping stuff up on the video too, so I can pause for a moment.
Yep.
All right, let's get it started. Here we go. The Giants now have two picks in the top 10, by the way, because they absolutely stole from the Bengals. Got the 10th overall pick for what's his name? Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. He's the best defensive tackle in the game. I think that was one of those trades that worked for both teams. I don't know why Cincinnati felt like they needed a defensive tackle. I think they need offensive linemen more than anything, but you know what? He's the best to do it. And if you can get him, give him a contract, lock him up for the 10th overall pick. It was a player for a pick. There was nothing else. I think that was a really good move by both teams.
They're an oddly run organization.
Very strange.
I can't say that they lost the trade yet. We don't know. Like you said, he is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. But I'm not giving a top 10 pick for a defensive tackle, man.
Defensive tackles are funny though, because they all of a sudden they are.
Well, yeah, because Seattle won the Super Bowl off of 2 really good defensive tackles. Exactly. Now, everybody's like, let's go get them.
There you go.
But who's that guy? Who's I can't even believe I'm blanking on his name, but the Hall of Famer from the Rams who just retired, Aaron Donald. I would pay that for Aaron Donald. I don't think Lawrence is Aaron Donald. I think he's coming off a down season too. It was a shocking trade to me. I'll just leave it at that because we're here to talk Dolphins football. But let's take a look at how the top 10 went. Fernando Mendoza expected. Arvell Reese probably the pick there. Jeremiah Love to 3 would be really interesting. I actually do think the Cardinals should do that, man. I don't know. I'm
hearing there are reports. Go look on Bleacher Report and ESPN. There are reports that I saw this morning saying that it is per league sources. Arizona is seriously considering Jeremiah Love at 3, and I don't hate it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Grab Love at 3. Grab Simpson at 33. Like, come on.
I'm gonna pop a chat up here real quick.
Yeah.
Cat for life. Oh, wait. Sorry. This one. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports.
Yeah.
The Cardinals have had exploratory calls about trading number 3. Yep.
Yeah, I really think that the first trade of the draft will probably come here at 3. Oh, yeah. I really believe that. If they stick and pick, though, tell me their fan base is going to be mad about picking Jeremiah Love there. Like, why would you be?
I mean, of course they will be, because they'll be like,
yeah, they will
quarterback. But I don't think you can take Ty Simpson at 3. And I think if they stick and pick, this makes the most sense for them. It's either him or one of the other, like Bailey maybe, or Styles. But
Cap says that they've been talking to the Chiefs for the 3rd overall pick. That's got to be your pass rusher at that point, then, right?
I would think so. Probably David Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And if Arizona goes to 9. And I still think this is high, but there's an idea of where Ty Simpson might jump.
Yeah. Anyways. So Arvell Reese at 2 is interesting to me too. I've seen everybody mocking David Bailey there. I think Reese is a better fit, but they're the Jets, so they probably take Bailey. Who falls to us then? Sonny Styles goes 8, Fano 9, Carnell Tate 10, Maui Noah goes 4 to the Titans. So really offensive lineman kind of taken out of the equation for us unless we want to reach a little for Freeling. But Ruben Bain Jr. falls to us. I'm very interested to hear your take on this because he has been mocked to us several times in people's final mock draft. What do you think people are hearing out there? And then what's your feelings on if this does happen?
I mean, look, I have been on an uptick on Ruben Bain all offseason. Started very low on him. Then the combine measurables came out and I got even lower on him. And then I went back and watched his film because everyone kept saying he was a top 10 player, and I had him outside of my top 10 on my top 150 board. And I went back and I watched him, and I'll be damned, he is one of the best edges, if not arguably the best edge in the draft, depending on scheme. I think if Bain is on the board, it does not matter who's there in this scenario, right? In this specific scenario, if this is how the board falls, there's nobody else to look at. I think Jordan Tyson has CeeDee Lamb type potential. I think Monroe Freeling is going to be phenomenal. I think Vega, I have him as my number 2 offensive lineman on my board. I think, Peter Woods is going up. I'm not a huge fan of Dylan Thieneman. I have as my number 2 safety, but you run the card up to the board, or up to the desk, and you take Ruben Bain, and you don't think twice.
Yeah, the only concern I really have is, sticking in Miami. He's got obviously some personal issues just came out about an accident, which somebody was killed in the crash. I fully, that's not for us to analyze. I believe that Sully and the security team and all those guys are going to do their homework there. And if they feel like Ruben Bain, it was a kid being a kid, it was an accident, whatever. I know that the girl's family has already, forgave him. They called it an accident. So it is what it is. I would be pretty ecstatic with Ruben Bain falling to 11.
So would I.
I mean, we've only had the promise of good pass rushers lately. We haven't actually had a good pass rusher. It would be nice to have a good one.
Yeah, and I think this is one hell of a player. I think he showed you in college that he can do everything. He can rush the passer. He can play in the run game. He can even drop in cover. It's not that you hope he does that a lot. Yeah. But you pair him on one side with Chop on the other, assuming that Chop continues to elevate his game and to advance in his career. I think you have a hell of a 1-2 punch.
The thing that sold me was the picture you sent from the combine where he showed how much bend he has.
Oh my God.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like that. I know that most people are probably like, well, most offensive linemen will just push him to the ground. And you're probably right. If they can even get hands on him. I mean, he's that low to the ground.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I think it's Ruben Bain here, and it's not even close.
I agree. The only other consideration I actually personally would have is Vega here.
Same.
I think you've really turned me on to Vega.
Yeah.
But if Bain is still there, then I'm taking Bain. So let's go ahead and draft.
And you know how much I love Vega. And the fact that I'm like, fuck it. Let's go for Bain.
Yeah.
Like, that tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, look at this. Comparable to Jared Verse. Yes, please.
Yep. And as a Florida State guy, yes, please.
Yeah. All right. Off the board, Ruben Bain Jr. to the Miami Dolphins at 11. So we've made steps towards fixing the pass rush. We'll take a look at who everybody else is taking. We'll just kind of pop around a little bit here and see. Looks like...
Okay, that's some good options. There's some good options for us.
We have some good options. So Freeling goes, Jordan Tyson to the Rams. What
my God, right there. Dude, him and Puka. Jesus,
nuts. This is an interesting one. I haven't seen this one mocked yet. Peter Woods.
Yeah, he's flying up people's
Ravens.
Boards.
I could see that though.
I don't see
Lemon to the Jets is pretty common.
I think Peter Woods is going to be a bust.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his draft position has been dropping lately. Didn't do any drills. The stats aren't really a thing for defensive tackles in college, but okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on him then. Jermon McCoy to the Lions. Vega goes to the Vikings. Steal for them. Back-to-back Ducks here with Sadiq to the Panthers. I see this so often, bro.
Yeah, that gives Bryce. Was it Bryce? Who's their quarterback? Yeah. A hell of a weapon, man.
This is one that I see a lot. I see Emmanuel to the Steelers a lot too. Don't see this one a lot. This is a good.
That's great.
If it fell this way for the Cowboys, I think they'd be pretty pumped.
Yeah. Can we talk about the rise of EMW?
Insane, dude.
Yeah.
I think he's a second round guy. The fact that he's all the way up here at 21, is insane.
I think he has first round potential. Would I take him in the first round? Probably not.
But that's the thing. He's all potential, man.
He's so good though, dude.
Coming out of Toledo, he didn't have. I mean, I don't know. He's all potential, and if the potential hits,
click on the little. I know where this is Dolphins mock, and go to stats.
Yeah, like the tackles is fantastic. Obviously,
forced fumbles, pass defended. I mean, he's everywhere. He's a hell of a player, dude.
Yeah,
and he's huge. Anyways,
he will be it could potentially be a good weapon for somebody. I don't know. That one's a little 50-50 for me.
I think the Chargers get a steal here with McDonald falling all the way to 22. Crazy. That's awesome. Good
for
them.
How many defensive tackles went ahead of him? Peter Woods. Is this Peter Woods? I'm surprised Peter Woods went ahead of McDonald though.
Same.
Terrell to the Eagles. That would surprise me. Lomu here.
Yeah.
Messidor to the Bills infuriates me.
Of course it is, right?
Chris Johnson goes right before us, which is a common draft, common mock to us at 30 now. All of a sudden,
I would have taken him if he was there.
Yeah. All right, so we actually have some really good players on the board for us. So we took an edge rusher at 11, which really opens up the possibilities for us here at 30. Omar Cooper Jr. available is awesome. Denzel Boston there too if we want to go wide receiver. Those are both really good options. Caden Proctor being available to us, offensive tackle, who many believe the Browns could take as high as 6. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think that's just draft stuff. But insane that he's still there at 32. And then who else? I think that's it. Max Henniker, if you want to, if you're not a Proctor fan, I think the choices are between Henniker and Proctor at offensive tackle, or Omar Cooper Jr. and Denzel Boston at receiver.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, it's Tyson. No, I'm kidding. I think it's down to 2 players for me personally. Now, I'm not saying that this is what will happen, but if this is how the board falls, I'm deciding between Omar Cooper Jr. and Colton Hood. For as down as I have been on Colton Hood, I went back because he was mocked to us at 30 quite a lot.
Quite a bit.
I mean, a ton by everyone.
Yeah.
And I went back and watched his film, and he wasn't as bad as I thought he was. I went back and watched his pro day, the stuff he did at the combine, the interview stuff that has been reported, and I could see it. Now, for me, it's Omar Cooper Jr. here. I think we desperately need to give Malik Willis. We just got done glazing him. We need to give him a weapon. This team, not we specifically, we being the royal we, the Miami Dolphins, need to give him someone to throw the ball to. We got rid of Waddle. Taj is great for sure. Malik Washington, sure. Tutu Atwell, okay. The other guy from Dallas, okay.
Jalen Tolbert,
yeah, Jalen Tolbert, but like the other guy from Dallas, I think that's more appropriate. And I think both of them, Tolbert and Tutu are going to surprise a lot of people. But
I'm a big fan of Tutu, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but yeah.
I really but I'll tell you this, man. Omar Cooper Jr. is big enough, is fast enough, and is one of the most sure-handed wide receivers that has come out in the last 4 or 5 years. And he blocks like an offensive lineman. And it is awesome to see. If you have not gone and watched his film, go back and watch his film. Go back and just pick any game, type in Omar Cooper Jr. highlights, and he's awesome. And his routes are it's going to be a little crazy. But
what percentage is this, by the way? 13 touchdowns and only 70 catches.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But he runs routes like a prime Odell Beckham Jr. used to. Like that's how I love him as a wide receiver and prospect. I tend to lean, if you've watched all of our other mocks, I tend to lean into drafting Denzel Boston because he's 6'4". I'm a huge fan of his, like a massive fan of his. But if Omar Cooper Jr. is there, I don't necessarily know if you can take Boston because I think Omar Cooper Jr. is just simply a better wide receiver. And we need to get some help.
I desperately want a receiver, especially because I don't like when we do all these mock drafts and we get to the second, really not the second round. We're not usually looking at a receiver in a second, but when we get to the third round with our 4 picks, there's never a receiver there I truly like.
No, I mean Malachi Fields floats around, but like I've gotten a little cold on him a little bit. And
then we start reaching for like Ted Hurst and stuff. Like
reaching is. I mean, I actually really like Ted Hurst.
I do, but not as much as these guys that are available like here at 30, right?
Right. I think honestly, if you convince me, if you're good with going wide receiver here, convince me over one. If you think Boston should be over Cooper, with Bain being there at 11, I think this allows us to dip into the needs a little bit more versus the BPA, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right? Because I think if you're taking BPA, you're taking Proctor, you're taking TJ Parker, you're taking Max, right, or Colton. But I just think Cooper Jr. on this team would be bananas.
I really think it's going to depend on what their feelings are on the linemen that they've signed to come in with Salyer and what the hell's the other guy's name? Heck or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, if they aren't as high on those guys and they're really truly, I've said this a million times, but people are probably sick of it. If they're really truly sticking to like building from the trenches, I think they take a long, hard look at Caden Proctor and maybe even Max. I think Max is way higher on like NFL boards than on these boards here.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here's, and I'm playing a little devil's advocate here, right?
Chase and Pregnon. There's just a lot of linemen left.
Well, here, and that's my thing, right? When we pick at 43 or 42, 43 or
13 picks away though. Yeah, 43. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking Proctor's still here, Max is still here. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're hoping that one of Proctor, Max,
Pregnon, or even
DeSantis or Pregnon are there.
So there are options. And then when we get into the third round, we're looking at players like Dunker, hopefully falls, or we're looking at Rutledge, who's one of our collective favorite offensive linemen in this entire draft.
He goes right before 75 every time, and it drives me crazy.
I know. So hopefully there are options. And if they're not, then you know what? You still upgraded at other positions. So I think here, chat, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to chime in. I think Omar Cooper
I think I saw a Boston in there.
Yeah, Blake said Boston. Yep.
Jorge's taking the guys from last year.
Yeah, fun. Kevin Banks Jr. 11. And, yeah, I would take Ibuka at 30.
What a draft that would have been. Hell yeah.
No shit. Yeah.
I'll go back in time and do that.
Yep. I don't know.
Do
you have a sense of who you want to go with here? So we do.
Yeah, I think if they're going to go BPA, I think they probably want to go Omar Cooper Jr. here.
Yeah,
it's really tight between these two.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. All right, we get a pass rusher and a wide receiver. Cassius Howell and Denzel Boston go next. Just keep an eye out. Colton Hood goes at 35. Caden Proctor 37. And Pregnon and Basantas both go right before. So all four linemen go before we in the next 13 picks.
Yeah, but
absolute travesty for the Dolphins in this situation.
Well, I disagree because you know who's there is Brandon Cisse, and I think he is your day one starting cornerback.
Okay, but
bro, we need it. We need help. Look at our first number one need on this team is cornerback.
I am completely aware, but I am so I'm just so worried about the trenches before I care two shits about the backfield. And I know we already addressed edge rusher on that side of the ball. So sure, we can start moving into corner and safety and stuff like that. And Cisse there, Pons is there. Definitely really good options. Interesting to see Chris Bell there at 41. That's a nice fall.
Yeah.
You
want some back-to-back wide receivers?
Yeah, even Gabe Yakas there at 40. Still there at 43. Yeah. I think is great potential. I do not have any strong feelings on this pick. I'm surprised you're going Cisse over Pons, to be honest, but maybe you've just come to grips with the fact that they're probably not drafting the 5'9" corner.
Yeah, honestly, everyone that has watched a second of the show knows Pons is on my crush list, right? It's Pons, it's Dunker, it's Rutledge. He's got that dog in him, but I just think this front office specific. I mean, look, Cisse is not much taller.
No.
Right. But, I just think, Cisse is the name that I see more people put onus on as a potential star at the cornerback position. Now, I disagree. I think Pons is going to be a better cornerback than most cornerbacks in this draft. But you've talked me out of drafting him because of everything that you've said about this front office and their time in Green Bay, and that they never drafted a cornerback over whatever it was, 5'11". And so I don't think they start now. But I'll tell you what, man, D'Angelo Pons is a hell of a fucking player.
I think you gotta stick to your guns, man.
Yeah,
I mean, because Cisse doesn't have the production that they're gonna like either, right? So only 2 career interceptions.
Well, I mean, look, you're the GM here, right? I'm just the head coach. You're the one that makes the decisions. You have the mouse.
Yeah, as the GM, I'm slamming my head into the wall because all 4 of my freaking linemen went right between my 2 picks.
You're still gonna get a good one. Have faith.
All of them went.
The other question would be, and this is a little crazy.
Yeah.
Do you double down on edge and take Malachi Lawrence?
I
for
think that's
example.
an option, but I think this is an option here as well.
Very much so. Or Dunker is there. I mean, I know it's a slight
Dunker's here
reach.
too.
You know, I know our fellow old co-host Taylor, who's joined the show and who we talk to on a daily basis, and has gotten me to raise Rodriguez on my board, has Jacob Rodriguez as like his 6th overall player.
Do you know that he's not alone? I have read 3 final mock drafts where Jacob Rodriguez goes in the 1st round.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I just saw a mock draft where Rodriguez went to the Patriots at whatever it was at the pick after.
I saw him to the Patriots at 31. I saw him to the Cowboys at 12. That one was crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, dude, Rodriguez has the potential, and I don't throw around this name lightly, and I don't put this on him. I don't, you know, he's you know, I'm not going to say it, but
don't say it.
He's got a historical Miami Dolphin linebacker-esque vibe to him. I'll put it that way.
I mean, it's our last mock, bro. I want to get somebody we like. Like, we like Pons, we like Rodriguez, we like Dunker.
Yeah, I mean, look, if
these are just names, these other guys, you know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think as much as it will be considered a reach, I think if we are okay skipping cornerback for now, which is real difficult, because I think the worst position room on this team is cornerback. I don't think it's particularly close.
Here's the situation. Are you going down the Jacob Rodriguez route?
No, I was going Dunker.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I was going to do scenarios for linebackers, but that's okay.
Well, but Rodriguez is also the pick. I mean, it could also be the pick. You know, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Because here's the thing: you take Pons now and target a Kyle Lewis later.
Yeah. Or Kyle Lewis, who we're big fans of. Good. Or you take a
Rodriguez now and target like a Bud Clark or that guy from Florida that you really like.
Yep, that guy.
I forget his name.
Same. So here's the thing. Rutledge would be my target at our next pick.
or you take Dunker, or you wait and take Rutledge.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, Igbinosun is another good cornerback.
Yeah,
that might be available to us. Can you sort by cornerbacks, and just so we can talk about them before we?
No, I don't like him. Devin Moore was the name.
Devin Moore, by the way. Will Lee the third is also a very good cornerback. Julian Neal, Keith Abney. I mean, so there are options, right? Even Dylan Everett from Georgia, who has skyrocketed up people's boards.
This guy's skyrocketing too.
Malik Muhammad. Yep. So I think, you know, if we
there's third round talent available at corner.
My snap judgment was go cornerback.
Yeah.
But there are options. There are options at linebacker.
There's only one third round option at linebacker, and that's Kyle Lewis. So if you
I'm taking Dunker, dude. I'm taking Dunker. I mean, I just think he's going to be one of the best guards to come out of this draft. I know he played offensive tackle, so he does have that. He played on the right side. He's 6'5", he's 319. Yeah. He's got the silver mane of a stallion, which I am excited to see under his helmet. And he's a nasty motherfucker.
That's what I like the most. Like they're trying to change the attitude of this team. They know that this team has been called soft, right? The players know that they've been called soft. They want guys who buck that trend. And is there anybody better than Jennings Dunker to buck that trend?
Well, Blake thinks screw it, take Dunker.
That's because Blake is a smart man.
Yeah, and you know what? The more we talked about it, I'm glad we paused and didn't make a snap decision. You know, take Dunker. I think that solves the offensive line for now, at least, right? Because Dunker's going to play right guard. He's not playing right tackle.
But what if he is better than Jackson at right tackle? I mean, not only is that like terrible for Jackson.
Well, I think it's very plausible. I think he would be a better right tackle than Jackson. In my opinion,
got the size, 6'5", 319.
But I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl type level guard. I really do. And if you can fix the biggest position that is still on this line, and I know we both feel about how we feel about Savania. I'm giving him another year. I want to see if he makes a jump. He's not a guarantee. I understand that. But we have a building block in Patrick Paul. We have a question mark in Savania, but he was a rookie last year, switching sides, playing in an offense that was a shit show. I give him a pass. Let's just see how he develops with adults in the room. You have a Pro Bowl who I think the best center in football right now in Brewer. You have no one at right guard, and you have a serviceable player when healthy, in air quotes, in Austin Jackson. I think if we take Dunker, you throw him in at right guard.
I mean, I agree. I think truly we only have 2 solid starters on the offensive line.
So
and a bunch of guys competing.
Yeah, so Dunker's my pick here. I don't know about you. It's not just me.
There's so many guys I like here that I love your argument. So let's go for Dunker. It seems the chat agrees. I see that Jorge has got some guys he likes in there too.
Yeah, but KC is gone. And if he was there, well, the problem is we took Omar Cooper Jr. at 30. So we're not doubling down on wide receiver, unfortunately.
Not till later, probably.
But Austin Barber, though, from the offensive tackle out of Florida, I'm a huge fan of in the later rounds.
Cisse and Pons go back to back next up, by the way.
Malachi Lawrence to
Ty Simpson, 51 to the Panthers. No way. Jacob Rodriguez to the Steelers. Bastards. Darian Price to the Broncos. David Igbinosin to the Seahawks. That son of a gun.
Oh, Willie.
That's a good fit.
Fuck. Willie went already.
Yeah, Willie right before. It's Elijah
who's available. You know what? Fuck it. Oh, I know what I want to do. Okay.
So AJ Halsey's at the top of the list. Romello Heights, somebody we talk about a lot. I don't know a lot about these two, but let's take a look at what we've taken so far. Ruben Bain falls to us at 11, edge rusher out of Miami. Absolute mind-bending bendiness, let's put it that way. Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver out of Indiana, just an absolute touchdown machine, falls to us at 30. And then the mullet stallion, Jennings Dunker, offensive tackle out of Iowa, doesn't really fall to us. We actually moved him up the board quite a bit to take him. But we have that much confidence in him helping to solidify the offensive line. So we've got an edge rusher, an offensive lineman, and a wide receiver. What are you targeting next?
Yeah, I think this is down to 2 players for me. I will just say their names, and I'll let you take over here. But I think it's between AJ Halsey and Julian Neal for me. I think AJ Halsey is a nasty field general type safety coming out of LSU. And where'd you go? Go back up.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And Julian Neal out of Arkansas, I think, is going to be one hell of a player in the NFL. And yes, Jorge, we decided that we're not going to do any trades, but we could definitely trade up, trade down for sure. And I do think we make a move or two. I really do. But we're not doing it in this. We're just seeing who falls to us at our natural picks.
Yeah, I like that he's a ball hawk. Seems to have some tackling issues, but really we haven't had a ball hawk in so long that I'm kind of just I would take the ball hawk skills over the tackling skills.
Same. And Blake also says Halsey or Keontae Scott out of University of Miami.
Yeah, so I mocked him for the first time when I did the last episode, second episode last week.
He's real good.
Yeah.
How tall is he?
He is a whopping 5'11", 193.
Yeah, that's tough.
With big hands for that size. It's disproportionate hand size to his height and weight. And Halsey, what does he come in at? Halsey comes in at 6 foot 215. Yeah. But the little blurb. What's that?
What about Julian Neal?
Julian 6'2", 200.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of Halsey. Oh, he's a safety also. Oh, they're both safeties. Or no, Julian's a corner. Halsey's a safety.
There you go.
Julian is an excellent run defender with improved tackling. He's grabby, but only four penalties these the last 2 seasons. They say that it's like that's a bad thing, but corners in the NFL get called like every other play.
Yeah, I think Halsey's the best player available at a position of need. It's just a matter of what you value more. Do you put more value in a safety, which we don't have, or a cornerback, which we don't have?
I crazy enough, I think we have more talent at corner than we do at safety right now, which is insane. I know Lonnie Johnson's probably going to start.
I mean, I'm taking Halsey, and I'm not thinking twice about it, but I'm just trying to, play.
Let's keep going, then. Let's keep it going.
And I do think somebody that we love might be falling to us here.
Kyle Lewis, Stick,
Kyle Lewis, or Rutledge. I don't know if Rutledge went.
Rutledge, he did to Jacksonville at 81.
Jacksonville.
That's the third round's tough, dude. Like we've fallen in love with a lot of third round players because we have so many third round picks.
No,
but man, they're hard to come back.
When's our next pick?
So we have 87,
All
90,
right.
94. So we have 2 picks between these and then 3 picks between the next 2.
So here's what I would do in the next 2 scenarios, assuming these players are here. I'm taking Julian Neal, and then when it rolls back in 4 picks, I'm taking Kyle Lewis. That is what I would do. I'm not saying that's what we have to do or what the Dolphins would do, but I'm taking the 6'2" cornerback out of Arkansas who can play boundary, who's fast enough to shade inside when you need him to. And I'm taking Kyle Lewis to pair with Brooks, Kyle Lewis coming out of UCLA, who's an absolute, or out of Pittsburgh, who's an absolute monster in coverage, which is the exact opposite, or which is exactly what we need given, Brooks's lack thereof ability to cover.
I honestly, doing these makes me feel like some of the nerve and the angst that they must feel in the draft room, because it's like you're 2 picks, man. Like if I take Julian Neal, is Jacksonville or Chicago going to take Kyle Lewis? There's a better than good chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since Chicago has a linebacker on their needs list.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's real tight, and it really depends. To them, it's going to be pretty easy because they have their board laid out, right? Like,
of course,
the players. These are where they're ranked. They probably have tiers.
And I imagine in the room, the only time it really gets difficult is when a player like Ruben Bain falls and throws a monkey wrench into your whole thing. When you were expecting, okay, we're going to take an offensive lineman at 11, then we're going to circle down and take an edge, depending on who we think's available at 30. And now Ruben Bain's there, and you're like, oh shit, well, tits up, let's figure this out.
I would bet the other thing that gets kind of rough is when the team before you that's picking, you think to yourself, well, they don't have a need at this position where we have a need, so there's no way they're going to take this guy. So let's just sit back, relax. They're going to take somebody else, and then they actually take the player you wanted. It's like,
or they trade, and the team traded up for him. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Julian Neal's a better player than Kyle Lewis based on need. I'm not saying he's the better player, but
linebacker's not truly a need, I guess, if you look at the depth, if you compare the depth charts of the 2 positions.
Yeah.
So I would agree, because especially since like the next closest corner is all the way down at 99 with Malik.
But Everett's good, Muhammad's good, so I can understand, right? But I just think Julian Neal being there is too good of of talent to pass up. The other argument we don't need to talk about him is Samuel Hecht out of Kansas State, the inside offensive lineman at 92, or ranked.
What do we like in the chat, by the way?
Stukes is nice too. We can't pass on Halsey at 75. Halsey or Scott. Where we ended up taking Halsey. I think Scott's no longer there. Honestly, Neal over Stukes, actually, though. Where's Neal? Oh, Julian Neal. Yeah, over Stukes. Yeah, I think Julian Neal's the pick. It has to be the pick here, man.
I think that's a good call on Hecht, though. I think it's a good call on center in general. I'm keeping an eye on the center position in the 3rd round. There's quite a few good centers available in the 3rd, so I'd be interested to see what Miami does there. I mean, because even if we do keep Brewer, a 3rd round pick isn't guaranteed a starting position, and our only backup at center is that young cat, that undrafted kid that we have,
Andrew Myers,
something like that.
Who if he can stay healthy, could be very good.
Yeah.
Look, so I think we need to get the ball rolling here. I think Julian Neal's the pick, unless you disagree, and then we keep our fingers crossed that Kyle Lewis doesn't get. Kyle Lewis is there.
Bryce Lance goes, which is a little annoying. I would have loved to grab him a little later, but we do get our guy Kyle Lewis to fall here. If that's still the pick you want to make, we've taken a edge rusher, a wide receiver, an offensive tackle, a safety, and a cornerback. We're looking to double down on a position here.
Well, here's what I was going to say. I think Zeke Wheatley is there at ranked 98 at safety. And for me, personally, I think Zeke Wheatley is going to be a nightmare of a safety. But I think pairing Kyle Lewis, we've all seen how good a team can be when the middle of the field is taken care of with 2 solid linebackers.
Yeah,
we already have one who's a tackling machine and who can stop the run and who rushes the passer real well. And eye discipline and is a smart motherfucker at the linebacker position. And you pair him with a rangy, fast, high IQ type linebacker. I think it really solves a lot of problems, which is why I keep leaning towards Rodriguez, Kyle Lewis, like all of those kind of players. And I think the fact that Kyle Lewis is here, this is one of those situations where I don't want to talk us out of a player, but I would also don't want to talk us into a player. So if you feel it differently, by all means, like voice up, chat. If you don't like Kyle Lewis here, I know Blake, you just posted that, I like Kyle Lewis too. If you guys think this is an absolute reach and you would rather see us go Romello Height or double down on wide receiver with Skylar Bell, who's a real popular pick to Miami because he's a tall, fast guy, let us know. I think personally, if it's between Lewis, Wheatley, and Samuel Hecht.
Yeah, I'm really on the Lewis train here. I know that we've taken him in mocks before, of course, but also I think, for whatever reason, Bud Clark's fallen down the safety charts here a little bit. So even if we don't get Wheatley here, Clark is not a bad pick here. We'd have to take him a little higher than maybe we'd want to, but we could.
Maybe we'll get lucky and we take Lewis and Sam Heck falls to us at 94, right? Or
I think that's. There's only 3 picks between us. I think there's a very real chance. Like, there's a chance Stooks could fall to us,
which would be insane.
Let's go ahead and take Kyle Lewis here and see what happens.
Blake says Bell or Wheatley at 94.
Okay. Bell or Wheatley. Okay. As expected, Stooks goes next, Malik Muhammad, and then
the fucking Bills.
Parker. Yeah. So I don't know if it actually works out this way in real life. It'd be pretty interesting to see them take a different position every single pick. But that's what we've managed to do so far. We just happen to have guys we really like at a different position every single time. So we haven't really had to double down yet. Could this be the first time we do? Who is the chat calling out here?
Blake is saying Bell or Wheatley at 94.
So Skylar Bell played in UConn, 101 catches, 1,270 yards, and 13 touchdowns in his final season.
That's who I'm taking right here. I'm doubling down on wide receiver. Look at his measurables, if you can.
5'11", 192.
Yeah, 4'4". Vertical leap is 4'1". Broad jump is.
Did a pretty good job at the.
And he put up numbers.
This is above everything. They asked somebody asked Sully if he could pick one thing that they would grade players on. He's like, I know there's a lot of things that you grade players on, probably 6 or 7 things, but if you could pick one thing, what's the most important? He said the tape.
Yeah.
He said the tape. This tape don't lie right here.
I'm starting to lean more and more into tape over fucking underwear Olympic type shit.
Yeah.
And Skylar Bell clearly and I live in Connecticut, so UConn I'm familiar with. On a team that had other weapons in their kind of division. Hell of a player. Blake would like to see Romello Height's measurables before he weighs in. That's
6'3", 239. Romello Height's somebody Josh and I have definitely mocked to us before. Really, talk about underwear Olympics champion right here.
What are stats?
Crushed. But 9.5 sacks.
I mean, Texas Tech, man, they know what they're fucking doing. They put out defenders left and right, man.
Looking at this in hindsight, I think it's a much tougher decision between Lewis and like doubling down on edge rusher and getting an wide receiver overtaking the linebacker here.
If we can do it once. We can only do it once in the draft. There's a button that's above the restart button that says go back a pick.
No, I'm not doing it. We're sticking. We're sticking.
Right, so in this
which means we have to pick between Height, Bell, and I think Wheatley was the third.
Yeah, I don't think Wheatley's. I don't think he's on my list right now. Not right now. I think Wheatley's going to be a hell of a player. I think the fact that Romello Height is still there.
I think he's only here because he's 25. Really.
Right, but I do think that, and Blake, you're like in my fucking head tonight, buddy. Bell paired with Cooper, which is what Blake just said. He's like, double down. Bell matched up with Cooper would be. I mean,
that's a nice receiving core right there.
Absolutely. I mean, there's the wide receiver core. Then you have
Tutu and Tolbert, and Malik Washington coming back.
I don't know, man. That's a hell of that might be too good to pass up if I'm being honest. But I do like Romello Height. So I think to your point, what you pointed out, his age is what is dropping him down the board. So the problem with Romello Height is not his talent and not his production, but it's the fact that, some of these players you're drafting them by the end of their rookie contract, they're 25 years old.
Yeah.
You're getting Romello Height at the very start of his rookie contract at 25.
He would be almost 30 by the time he gets to the end of his.
And what does that also tell you? That also tells you, I'm not saying that he can't develop, but most likely you're getting what you get with Romello Height, which is not a knock on him, right? I'm not saying that because, you only get what you get. What you get is a very good fucking player.
Yeah.
But the conversation needs to be, do you take a younger player that is also very good at his insert position that can then develop into an even better player than someone like Romello Height, who's going to come in and produce, but might not develop as much.
These would be really fun camp battles too. Cooper versus Tolbert, Bell versus Malik Washington and Tutu. Like those three are very similar players. Like, man, it'd be exciting at least to see a camp battle that means something, you know?
Yeah. And I think, Bell and so Romello Height's out of the conversation for now. Wheatley's out of the conversation. I'm a big fan of Everett at cornerback, so maybe we can double down at cornerback. But if I'm looking at Skylar Bell or Sam Hecht, for example, who is somebody we just got done glazing a little bit in the previous pick, I'm taking the potential starter over the definite backup for now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless they know that they're not going to re-sign Brewer and they know they need to start, we don't know that.
Right.
Everything they've said makes it seem like they are going to re-sign Brewer. So I would agree. Let's go with Bell.
Perfect. First double down of the season, fellas.
Yeah, buddy.
Just kidding.
Of
this specific draft. We doubled down quite a lot.
Romello goes to the Giants at 105, by the way. He slid a bit. Bud Clark goes to the Broncos. Who else are we watching here? Nobody else that I'm really noticing that we have huge opinions of. Jayshawn Barham to the Bills stinks. Sweet. So here we are at pick 130. I believe this is in this round 4. We have a lot of picks left.
I know who my 3 players are. I am not going to say them because I'm going to let you identify your players unless you want me to.
Yeah, let's go. Let's dive right in. I know Drew Aller is. We're swinging at upside here. Ended up disappointing after a great sophomore year and a great junior year. He just absolutely falls apart in his senior year, and that's such a sad story for a guy who just lost a ton of money because he wanted to stay in school. I think Jacoby Lane's interesting, although we already have 2 wide receivers, and then. I would really love to double down on edge rusher, so Kieran Crawford sticks out on this list.
Yeah, for me, it's Drew Aller, Fazian Prysock at cornerback from Washington, who I'm a big fan of, and Bryce Bocher, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
This guy here?
The linebacker out of Oregon. Blake thinks is putting his 2 cents in. He says Crawford.
Crawford? Yeah, buddy.
He agreed with
6'4",
you.
253. 5 sacks, 9.5 tackles.
Wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it. Right. I mean, we need.
This is another it's another upside play. You're banking on size. I think these bars are broken. It's just, I don't know. Something seems weird about those bars, but
no, I think it's just based on percentage. And if you look at his height versus his weight, when you have a 6'4" edge, you want him to be, a little lighter or a little heavier, depending on how they grade it. I don't really know.
Got an interception last year playing edge.
Yep.
A fumble recovery, 36 tackles, 5 sacks, and 9.5 tackles.
And that was all rotational, right? I don't think he was I don't know. Did it show you how many snaps he took? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Yeah. Nope. All right, let's take a look. So Aller, he comes in with the prototypical size for a quarterback, 6'5", 228. Got the hand size, the arm length. Just fell apart, man. He got hurt. He only played 7 games last year, but looked kind of uncomfortable, as a lot of people I've heard talk about the situation say. Just panicky in the pocket.
We got injured, didn't he?
He got injured last year, yeah, but they were starting to say, like, even the end of his junior year, he started to see, as people put more pressure on him, he was unable to handle it as well as he did his sophomore year. Started to get in his own head, I guess.
Yeah, and Jorge chimed in here. I don't know. Can you see the screen while you have it up?
No, but I can tab over.
No, it's fine. That's fine. I'll read it. All I know for sure, Sully and Half will pick the best 11 draft picks for this team and make them a contender 2 years down the road.
I agree.
And Blake says Aller is nice, but I really like Green at 151. He's that Taylon Green, the Arkansas quarterback.
Yes.
Sit behind Willis for a bit. And I agree. I definitely agree. I don't think Taylon Green will be there at 151, at least not in some of the mocks that I've done. He tends to go early, but because there's a little run on quarterbacks that usually happens in various mocks that I've done around this time.
I don't have a strong opinion here, my friend. So
open up.
I know you like Justin Jolly too.
Yep, the tight end. But 137, go up one. Open him up.
Ephesians doesn't have an age.
He's ageless. Here's why I like him. He's 6'3", runs a 4.45. 7 pass defense. Not a lot of production, but Washington was a very loaded team, and they played a lot of mixed coverages, and he just didn't get his hands on a lot of balls from an interception standpoint. But I'm a big fan of his. I liked his film a lot. I'm not saying that we have to take him.
No, but looking for upside here in the 4th. So I think once you're beyond the first 3 rounds, you're upside all day.
Yep. So you know what? I'll let you choose here. I know
I don't know him enough to choose him. You pick.
All right. So I think. Open up Justin Jolly one more time. I just need to refresh on his size.
6'3", 251. This says 241, but the blurb says 251.
Yep.
Pass catcher, 7 touchdowns, 49 on 49 catches.
Yeah. You know what? I know this is crazy, dude.
Strong hands, impressive catch radius.
I think I'm leaning towards Jolly. It's really, I want to take the quarterback, but I think they're more project quarterbacks that we can take later. I like doubling down on edge, but I'm not really sold on Crawford. I'm a huge fan of Prysock. Bryce out of Oregon, the linebacker, I'm a really, really big fan of. He was a walk-on. I think I don't know if it says it in here. I can't really read it. I don't have my glasses, but something like he got drafted in Major League Baseball at one point.
MLB draft pick, yeah.
Yeah. And is a hell of a linebacker, but that's only good if we're running a lot of 3-4s.
Yeah. It says that he's undersized with short arms and struggles versus NFL blocking schemes.
Yeah. So here to keep the ball rolling, I'm taking Jolly here.
Okay.
Taking the tight end, giving Malik 3 weapons out of this draft.
Aller goes to the Saints, by the way, as we get ready to move into the 5th round. We have taken so far Reuben Bain at 11, Omar Cooper Jr. at 30, Jennings Dunker at 43, AJ Halsey at 75, and then Julian Neal, Kyle Lewis, and Skylar Bell to round out the 3rd, followed by tight end Justin Jolly. We've only doubled down on one position so far, wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. and Skylar Bell, but we have
this is going to be
more picks.
This is going to be a quick pick. We won't even need to talk about it. I'm running up and taking Crawford.
Crawford's still there at 151 is a hell of a steal. You deal with some of the limitations to get the upside at this point.
Yeah, I'm taking Crawford here, and I'm not thinking twice.
Here we go. And we don't have a 6th round pick, so we're going to have to sit here for a while. Let's talk about the guys who are still on the board at the quarterback position. We've heard Sully say that he wants to take a quarterback every year or every other year. You and I, in our first few mock drafts, we took a quarterback every single draft. But then as we kind of got into the process, we watched more interviews with Sully. We kind of got more information. We've started to pass on quarterback altogether, feeling that the guys in the room are probably who the guys are the room are. Given that we have 11 picks now and we're filled almost every need that we've had up to this point, how do you feel about taking a guy in the 7th round at the quarterback position?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what day it is. If you were to ask me this question, because honestly, I do feel like they put a lot of trust in Willis. We have viewers who, for a 7th round draft pick, and we talked about him a lot last year, during the year. Dude, he played his ass off for a 7th round player, a 7th round draft pick coming in out of Texas. Has good measurables, has very good, anticipation on his throws and touch on his ball, and can put some oomph behind it if he needs to fit it into tight windows. But just this offense was a shit show last year. This team was a shit show last year. So the fact that he was noticeable enough for us to say, at least as fans on the outside of the team, saying, you know what, hey, maybe we roll with him next year and just wait until 2027 to deal with quarterback. I think that speaks a lot. And the fact that he's then sliding in to where we both have said, even after we drafted him, he's going to be a number 2 quarterback. That is his talent. He can be a serviceable spot starter for you, but he is going to be a very, very good NFL QB2. And we have Willis at QB1. We have him at QB2. We have the other guy that we signed off of somebody's practice squad. I can't remember his name. Yeah. Cade, Clemson Cade, I think. Whatever the fuck the guy's name was. I think, I think this kind of equates to, we're going to draft a quarterback every year. Well, I would presume that they're looking at Ewers as a drafted quarterback because he's still young. He's going into year 2. They're getting his hands on him.
Sure.
Let's see what we have. Let's fill out our other needs. And then in 2027, we can adjust and see where we're at.
Yeah, almost nobody fell to us anyways. Luke Altmer is really the only one I'd consider here, and we just know what he is already. Probably a coach in 2 to 3 years.
Blake
taking a look at
Blake likes Cade Klubnik out of Clemson. I'm not a fan of his at all, dude. As a Florida State fan, I watched Cade play at Clemson. That dude's a fucking shit show. No thanks.
He's off the board already anyways.
Yeah. Nothing personal, Blake. I'm not saying that you're wrong for liking him by any stretch. I just watching film, talk about happy feet.
Hey, Devin Marshall's still here, and we definitely have need at corner still. I would love to pick up this young man in the 7th round. That'd be absolutely crazy.
Done. Yeah, I like him. I don't hate it at all.
Let's go. We got one more pick?
That's a dog too out of NC State. That dude plays with a nasty streak.
Really, if I'm being honest, it's the only name I recognize still being here. So I was like, hey, let's get him. All right, last pick of the draft. It's our Mr. Irrelevant, our own personal Mr. Irrelevant. We've picked up an edge rusher or 2, actually 2, 2 corners, 2 wide receivers, a linebacker, a safety, an offensive tackle. At this point, it's, so if you get somebody who can play, awesome.
If you get even a special teamer at this point, right?
Yeah.
And it's down to 2 players for me here, personally.
Okay.
I just need you to scroll back up whenever you're done.
Hold on, I'm looking. Sorry, go ahead. I don't know why I'm looking. I don't know any of their names.
DJ Campbell, the inside offensive lineman out of Texas, has his limitations. Don't click on him because at this point there's not much. But I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's huge. I think he's over 300 pounds. I can't see what is.
He's 6'3", 321 with elite people moving ability and power schemes.
Yeah, I do like him a lot. I think. Oh, okay. He does have stuff. Maybe they've updated it since
he was being drafted much higher early on in the process. But 6'3", 313.
So he's a little short, but he's stocky. Right,
yeah.
He's stocky and he's fast. He's got mobility. So that's one player I'm looking at here. And the next player I'm looking at here is Andre Fuller, the cornerback out of Toledo. I know we just drafted, so that would be 3 cornerbacks taken in this draft if we take him. 6'1", a little bit slow.
Poundos.
Yeah, but got some size to him. He's jacked. He filled out really nicely in college.
That's nice. 10 passes defense.
Yeah, gets his hands on balls. So those are the 2 players here that I'm looking at. If we wanted to go a 3rd wide receiver, McAllister out of TCU is phenomenal. Not saying that we do that. Right?
6'4", 194. He had 72, 1,190 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Why is he so low?
And I think it's injury history, and there might have been an off the field concern. I don't quote me on that though. But really,
he's certainly the most accomplished of the 3. It appears.
Well, Campbell. I think Campbell's probably the better player here of the 3 that we've talked about. I just don't think this regime takes 3 wide receivers in this draft. I don't.
Well, Blake agrees with me. So
yeah, no. McAllister would be a phenomenal pick, and I'm not criticizing it. If we were making the decisions, McAllister would be the pick here.
I think if they're going, let's say they go BPA. Who's the BPA?
McAllister here, in my opinion, on this board. It's McAllister. If I was ranking them, okay, there you go. Never mind.
We went BPA.
Done.
I think it was a good conversation though around the offensive lineman. You know, it's a what pick one. I don't even know what pick that was.
Hey, we got a B plus. What is this? What's the blurb? What's the blurb say up top?
Sorry. It says the Dolphins found some real talent here. Julian Neal falling to 87 was a gift, and they pounced on it. Adding Ruben Bain at 11 was the cherry on top. We got a B plus overall. It didn't like the Jennings Dunker, Kyle Lewis, or Eric McAllister picks.
Yeah. Well, both, all three of them were, from a computer standpoint, were all reaches. But
you know what? What is the computer now?
Yeah, right.
Jerks.
And here's what's confusing. It glazed us for taking Justin Jolly, but gave us a B. Like, come on. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think the conversation at 238 was good though, because there's three potential players there. I wonder if they would actually go PPA or go, we don't really have a lot of corners. Let's take the corner, right? Yeah.
Or hey, there's a really good potential backup, swing tackle out of Texas. So let's take him. Or hey,
never have enough offensive linemen.
Let's do what we did and take the 6'4" wide receiver because Omar Cooper Jr. is 6 foot and Skylar Bell's 5'11".
Yeah, exactly.
So,
hey man, final mock draft of mock draft season. I know that we are a little over time. Thank you all so much for hanging with us a little long here tonight. Let us know what you think of this mock in the comments below. Let us know who you're mocking to. I know Jorge was in here throwing out some names before. I love to see everybody's names just because the more names I'm familiar with, the less surprised I am when we pick them. So that's always good. Hey man, this will be on the website probably tomorrow morning. So everybody, if you want to go check it out on the website, we'll add our own blurbs and stuff like that. It's the final one of the year. I can't believe it, Josh. This time is flying. Yeah, man. It was really good. Jorge, right back at you. Much love. He really liked our mock draft. Appreciate that. Blake here. Thanks, guys. Super excited. Fins up. Hell yeah, fins up. We're a couple days away from seeing what this regime does. I'm going to ask you one more question before we go. This will be quick. I won't say anything. I'll just pose it to you, and I'm curious your thoughts. If you had to put a percentage out of 100 on Miami trading up or down, I'll put it this way, trading out of either way of 11 or 30. So at some point in the first round, what percentage would you put it at? To give the fans something to not get shocked at, Sure. I think if the rumors about the Cardinals and Ty Simpson being the connection are true, I think 30 down to 33 is a greater than 75% chance. Agreed. Yeah. I would not be surprised if we tried to swing a 2027 asset as well. And I would really hope that Sully's I know he said in his press conference he's not really the one that's been calling, but I hope at that position he is. Don't let the Patriots do it, man. Don't let them do that at 31 and pick up a 2027 while we're just sitting there on our hands. I mean, look, I don't want to trade to just trade. I think if they're I loved our draft. Who did we take in the first round? We took Ruben Bain, and then we took Omar Cooper Jr. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily know if Cooper or a few other players are there. I don't know if I'm trading out. I don't. That's the thing, though. You're only trading what? So 32 spots down because they're not taking your guy. They're taking Ty Simpson, right? So there's two more picks between you. If you have three guys there you like, then true. Yeah, that's why you're the GM and I'm the head coach. Dude, I can't wait to freaking see it. I cannot wait for this draft. By the way, we don't know yet if we'll be live or not. I think there's been some scheduling conflicts. So just pay attention on draft night. Yeah, if you see us go live, then we'll join us. We'd love to chat, right? We do it. We do. Oh, Jorge agrees with you, Anthony. Nailed it. You can't even see anything in this sweatshirt. It's too big. No, there's not much to see there, buddy. I've seen you without that sweatshirt. I'm kidding. You're jacked. I wish. Look, I think we would absolutely love it if you guys hopped on even for a second. If we do end up going live, Blake said, go live. I'll be there. We're trying to, buddy. We have some conflicts in schedules, so we're trying to work it out. If you see us live and you hop onto YouTube during the draft, we'll be live, assuming our schedules clear up. We'll be live and we'll be doing it for you guys. And we'll be talking about every single pick. We'll have our big board up. We'll share the big board. We can talk about each player as they go and how we think they fit and everything. So fingers crossed that it all works out. It's going to be fun. Either way, we will be doing a recap show for you. Yeah. Don't miss it. Yeah, it'll launch Tuesday. But yeah. All right, man. Draft weekend is freaking here. Just what, 1, 2, 3 more sleeps until draft weekend begins, and then we sit in front of the boob tube for 3 days straight and
loving every second of it.
Watch a bunch of men talk about other men.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Hey, when you break it down, it sounds real boring, but it's actually a ton of fun, so I can't wait to be there. Thank you all for joining us tonight. 186 subscribers. Our goal is 250 by August 11th. I don't know if we're on pace. Doesn't matter. If you're one of the 186, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Head on over to the 305gridiron.com if you want to see any of the mock drafts that we've done. I think this was the 4th or 5th one that we've done like officially. Also, Josh's final big board is on there. All the transactions we made this offseason are on there. And our draft picks will be on there as they happen. I'll be adding them. I'll be typing vigorously as we make our picks. So
I'll help write the blurbs.
Yeah, buddy. All right, for Josh, aka Aqua Ace, over here to my left, I'm Anthony Pinzone. This has been another episode of the 305 Gridiron. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, fins up, everybody.